Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this.
Hi!
Welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash
And Becky, the guest edition. Oh.
We have got a stonker for you guys today. Honestly, I feel like we're going to be saying this every time because all our guests are just awesome. But seriously, today we have Tammy Fleming on the show, and she is a channel. She channels what she describes as fractals of herself. But you'll see throughout the show, she channels. They come in whilst we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so many different, I guess, fractals, versions of her coming in, and I think they'll really be able to tell, won't they?
Yeah.
You know, just by listening.
Yeah.
That another one's come in and another one's come in, and you know, it was just so. I was just in awe.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved it. I had goose pimples. Yeah. I just was feeling just like this overwhelming, like love. I just loved her.
You can, if you can, you can watch it on Spotify or YouTube, so you can actually see Tammy. But even if you're listening just on audio, you'll be able to tell when the channel, when she starts channeling, because she slips, her voice changes. If you can watch, sometimes you can see her face actually changing slightly, and she speaks in different tones, and the words that she uses are very different, and all the information is just such. It kind of, in such a maybe a more wise, bigger way, really reflects everything that we talk about in the podcast, to be honest with you, doesn't it? But anyway, this is our first channel on the show. We hope you enjoy and let us know what you think, because it's very different. And at one point, she does actually also channel light language.
Yes.
So if you start hearing something that sounds like a different language, it's light language. So close your eyes if you can and you're not driving, and just enjoy it, because it's very much about the energetics and the frequency of that. So that's a little special gift for you at the end. And it was channeled specifically for the audience, for you guys listening. So that's really exciting. Enjoy the conversation, guys. Today, we would like to welcome onto the show Tammy Fleming. Tammy, it's lovely to have you.
Hi,
welcome.
Tammy.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're so excited to talk to you, Tammy. So before we, guys, honestly,
we're blown away already.
We've got an episode for you today. But before we get into it, Tammy, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and how you got to the place you are at now, which everyone, you will understand where she is now when we begin talking.
So before my awakening, before I started channeling, I was very 3D, and I don't like using that term, programmed. It's very programmed, picked up a lot through my life, living the programs, being very unwell for 10 years, lots of operations. And then 2020 happened. And I started looking into so many different things. And a friend of mine said, "Can you watch this program? It's called Heal," and people were healing themselves. So I watched it 3 times, and I got my husband to draw my insides from there to there because of my endometriosis, fibromyalgia. I had a really bad time with it. And I started healing myself. And on that journey, I started learning a lot about my programming, what I did to my body, the power of the mind, the power of self-love, acceptance, forgiveness for self. And I had a QHHT session, and this is a short version.
Yeah.
I come out of the session and I started channeling.
Wow.
And on the way home, because I went to Edinburgh and I live in Inverness. Oh, I just want to say I moved from Thurrock, which just outside of London, up to Inverness because we just didn't fit where we were anymore.
Wow.
Some people thought we were going a bit crazy because I was seeing all this energy in the sky.
Yeah.
And I was trying to poke it. I was walking my dog. So yeah, we moved up to Inverness. I had the session. I come back and I was like, wow, let me look into this channeling, because I'd read Dolores Cannon. I was asking, like, show me what I'm here to do. Just, I was doing so much work. And then I started just channeling, like, in front of my husband and my children, or they'd ask questions, or I'd ask questions and I'd be getting these answers. And then I started looking at people and I'm like, can I touch you? Can I put my hands on you? And I'd be like, you've got trapped energy here.
Wow.
And then kind of move energy about. And one lady, like, she had sciatica and I didn't even know. She went, oh, I think you've cured my sciatica.
Wow.
And I was pulling tubes out of people, like energetic tubes, and not really knowing the technical terms, what it means. And I was questioning it for quite a while. I'm like, so this is not making sense. So I had to deprogram my human brain to be okay with things not to make sense. And they come through and said to me one time, when humans stop having the need for, I'm just trying to explain it in words, the words, because we have an attachment to words, and very rarely do we go out of the word box. So the word box holds us, and it's hard to get out of that. When they go in the feeling, they're going to make another big step. So they said, when you work with people, ask them how they feel, not to explain it. How do they feel? And humans are just going to take a big leap then. I mean, we're already doing it. Some humans are already doing it. And then I tried to do, I'm just going to say it, I tried to go into certain communities. I tried to heal people then, but now, no, we heal ourselves. Other people are just, they assist or facilitate. I can move energy about, but what are you going to go and do in your daily life after to then block it back up? And then, so I looked at doing retreats and this, and it was just never working for me. And I'm like, why is this never working? Because I'm realizing now that I contradict, my fractals contradict to make room for expansion. And some people are here to really assist in healing. That others, when they heal themselves, other people here to really assist in them. That's it. They shine at that. I'm not saying I can't, but I wouldn't say I really shine at it. I get a lot of different information come through. So yes, I can work with people and move energy around and get messages and stuff like that. But there's so many people bringing their natural gifts to do that. now, so that's why it kind of didn't fit me.
Yeah.
So I'm at a point now where I channel and I'm just letting it flow. And I do light language and I'm just letting it flow. And I work with energy and I'm just letting it flow. I'm not questioning. I'm not pushing it anymore. I'm just going to let it naturally unfold. And in doing that, it's led me here.
Yeah. Is it like, oh, honestly, Tammy, like this is, you're mirroring the conversations that Becky and we've been having, you know, for the last, probably like 3-4 months. And then we come on to the podcast and we talk about the same thing. So in each episode. And honestly, I just wish more people could understand how when you do let go and surrender and just trust the process and stop trying to use your mind to work out and just use your feeling instead. Everything, magical things happen. Like you said, this led you here, but because I let go and you're part of my letting go, I was led to you as well.
And mine. You are a part of mine.
And this is what I'm saying. It's so magical, isn't it? Like this is what we're saying. Like when Becky and I say all the time, it gets to be magical. Life gets to be magical. We're not like living up in the clouds. We're not mental. We have done it. We've done the hard work, just like you have. We've gone through the striving and the pushing and the forcing and the trying to work it out, and it doesn't work out very well. You come up against roadblock, don't you? Until you're like, right, forget it. I'm just going to let go. Show me where I've got to go. The next day, bam, there you are.
So in one weekend, I think, or I really lose track of time. I don't know with yourselves, when you start letting go, like time just isn't time how I know it. But within a few days, I done 2 sessions. I got a call for another session. I spoke to yourselves and you're like, do you want to come on? And that happened within a few days. I'm like, is this what I'm meant to be doing? Come on, give me some signs. So that happened within 3 days.
Wow, that's quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go through all that and then bam, so quick.
And so for you then, gosh, there was a lot you said there, and I'm like, oh, I want to ask about this. But for you then, do you feel that your natural, I know you're in the process of learning and coming to it, but do you feel you're supposed to be here to spread the messages, to kind of just channel through what the guidance?
Partly yes, for this moment in time, but because we all change, like I can see for yourselves together and individually that it might go totally different to the way you think it's going to go. And that happens with most of us, like you said a little while ago. It just don't happen as sometimes you think it's going to happen, and even when you let go, you can still let go some more. Like all of us. So for this moment in time, I'm getting a lot of messages come through, and I'm going to start sharing them a lot more. And for me to trigger people, I'm okay with doing that now. I was never okay with doing that before because I love a trigger. And my husband went to me, oh, why do you smile when you get triggered? And I'm like, it took me a long time to get to that. But don't get it twisted. My human still will have times I'm like, but within a couple of minutes, I'm like, right, okay, so what? But most of the time, I'll smile. I'm like,
because you know it's going to teach you something, don't you? It's a lesson. You're like, oh, I've uncovered something here. I can start digging into it, and I know I'm going to be better for it on the other side.
So this is coming through now. So I'll just say, for Tammy, when she gets stuff come up and it's she's really human about it, like if it's a little bit of worry or stuff like that, then she goes, I'm just one fractal of my wholeness experiencing a human life. there's other fractals of me in different overlays, different ET bodies, different universes, different cosmoses, apart with source, God, creator. Why am I taking this so damn seriously? Come on, Tammy, sort yourself out. So that's what I do. That helps me.
Yes. I do the same.
Yeah.
I do the
It's
same.
that perspective, isn't it?
It
Takes that pressure off.
And also remembering, like, you're only here. This life is just such a speck of time, of your infinite being, of your infinite multi-dimensionality. Like, come on, like, just have fun, lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
You're not going to be, one day you're not going to be here, and you're going to be like, damn, I wish I'd made more of, Tasha. She was all right, actually.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like I'm going to maybe change as I go along, because we're here to change.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest compliment I think someone can give you is you've changed. Well, duh, we're meant to. I love it. I love it. So at the moment, like I said, I can like language, work with energy, like moving energy about, but I'm getting strong messages come through to share, and they were that strong that I had 2 bats of mouth, like in my mouth. It was so sore, I couldn't speak. My whole mouth was swollen. I couldn't hardly talk. I couldn't eat. Like, I struggled drinking. It was just. They said, "Well, you're getting all this information and you're keeping it in your body.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen? You're asking for it, but you're not putting it out there." But then I had to do work on myself to be okay with being seen. Being seen by people what knew the old me. Because I'm not the same. Being seen by people what don't understand me, and being okay with that. So I had to do a lot of work on me to be okay, and it's only been probably the last, say, 2-3 weeks, like I said, since the time goes for me, where I put stuff on TikTok, and I don't know if I'm a fan of it really. More stuff on Instagram, but I'm going to be putting stuff on YouTube as well, like quick short messages where I'll go into a channel, because it needs to come through and go out so I can make room for more, if that makes sense. So I'll get more of a flow, but I had to be okay with being seen, misunderstood.
And that fear of judgment is strong, isn't it? And I especially think for people like who are in, people like us who are obviously opening up to their kind of spiritual side, and think about past lives, and the amount of people, because I do QHHT sessions as well, the amount of people that I work with, and obviously I have a specific type of person attracted to me. They've all got some kind of witch wound or persecution wound, that it's really their past lives, because they've been killed or tortured or, punished in some way, but it's mostly killed, for their spiritual beliefs. And this isn't woo-woo stuff. This is just that they believe that they're healers, that they can heal people, that they can help people get in touch with how to work their mind and the power of their mind. Like, all these people are doing all that kind of healing work, and they've been punished for it, and so now they're in this life, they have massive blocks about identifying as kind of their spiritual gifts and their spiritual nature, 2, being seen and getting out there, and 3, obviously that fear of judgment and persecution, because they're still carrying that absolute fear, because they were killed before. It feels like they're going to be killed again if you start trying to put yourself out there and your views that you were once punished for and killed. And I think this is like something that a lot of people don't really realize, but when you have QHHT sessions, as you realize, you had an amazing unlocking with yours, but this is what's really helping push people to be able to start sharing their gifts, like you said, the natural gifts that you've been with, to share.
So I was just getting a few messages. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So QHHT, some practitioners are going to take it in such a different direction because it's needed now, because that way fitted for that moment in time, and it's not saying that it doesn't work for some, it may still work for some, but it's going to be pushed because once you, going through the word box now, once you get comfortable and you think, okay, this is comfortable, then you're going to want to expand again. So with a lot of, let's say, QHHT and other modalities what have been around for a little while, they're wanting to expand now because it just doesn't fit for some anymore. So if I was to have a QHHT session now, it wouldn't work how it works for some because I will go straight into a channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the others, it would work wonderfully, but because there is such a shift happening, and if you want to put it, I don't like saying groups, but there's a shift happening, so more people are needing different, and this is where your own gifts come in, where you can tweak something, what let's say you've learned, and then go, do you know what, this might be better. You don't know where it's come from, it's just a knowing inside you that you can do this with someone, what is kind of like that, but you're putting your own spin on it.
Yeah, that's everything you do, Tash, isn't it? I would say that's what you're all about.
Yes, because if it's coming up for a reason.
Yeah.
And like for me, I want to see some things. Why can't I see it yet? I can explain something how it looks like, but I don't get a picture in my head. I'm like, oh God. So some things where it's very visual wouldn't, word box, Tammy, may not work for me. But I still would like to keep trying because one day it might. But I think we're in an expansion now where everything what's been taught is being looked at again. The word's gone. You probably know if you can come in. Re-looked at.
Yeah.
Because it's time to expand.
Yes.
And as humans expand, more of their fractals come online. More of their wholeness comes online. And it's going to look different to what's happened and been happening on Earth now.
I was just going to ask, can you give, because I have an idea of what you're talking about and what that might look like, but have you got any kind of like examples of what these differences are going to be, what we're going to start seeing, what changes we're going to start seeing?
So I'll go across a variety of things. So on your Earth now, you are already seeing some people look and they will see it as destruction. Other people will look and see it as a rebirth. Other people might look and go, do you know what? I'm not too sure what the hell is going on here. Let me just step back a bit more because I just want to cocoon. And so we just want to say that whatever way you see it is completely okay. We want to make humans aware that there is no right or wrong, because you all get caught up in the right and wrong and da. And it just takes up your energy field sometimes. So the ones what, let's say, look at Earth and go, oh my gosh, there's wars and there's this and this is wrong and the politics and this and this and this. they're just going to create more of that for themselves, but they may need to see that, learn from it, and be in it longer than what somebody else might be in it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, because who are we to say a beautiful fractal of God's source creator shouldn't be experiencing that? Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. So you are going to see changes on your earth happening more rapidly, especially in the next 3 years. There will be earth shifts. There will be things going on with the weather, natural and man-made. Yes. There will be overhaul on the food.
Yeah.
People are going to start really wanting to know what they're putting in their bodies. But we also want to drop in there that you have the power to transmute what goes into your body if it's not so great. You are so powerful. And there's big groups of humans placed all over your earth, yes, that know this, that are, let's say, teaching this and bringing this forward, because it is a multi approach to come at it from so many different directions. There's another fractal coming in. Just 1 second. We know this is going off topic, but for your viewers, we'd like to talk about karma and how you can step off of karma, how you can just get rid of it like that. Yes?
Yes, please.
So, the best way to do this is by falling so deeply in love with yourself. You treat yourself with kindness, compassion, care, forgiveness. And then as you start treating yourself like that, you will treat others like that. So there will be a nice flow, not in karma, so you're not creating any karma. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the self-love, and it's not self-love on a level what most humans think of as self-love. It's self-love knowing that you are both in your reality, what you are in now, light and dark.
Yeah.
Good and bad, whatever you want to call it. You've come to experience it all. So have such love and compassion and forgiveness for yourself, and that comes out of you onto others. We'll let Tammy come in now. We want to say not let, but figure of speech. She's here.
Wow.
That was cool. Tammy, your face changed there where you were channeling that one. Your face definitely changed.
Yeah.
It's very
So
cool.
most of the time I don't remember what was said. It goes, but I don't know if you've got questions.
I have one question. So self-love is so important, isn't it? And I think, and it's something that's coming up for me at the moment as well. And when we talk about forgiveness, obviously we know how powerful forgiveness is. And I think when we think about forgiveness, we often think about forgiveness for others, and I think we find it a lot easier to do that and to be able to see it. But when it comes to forgiving yourself, and I know I'm speaking from personal experience here as well, it's really hard to forgive yourself, because you're like, well, what am I forgiving myself for. I want to forgive myself, but what am I forgiving myself for? How do I forgive myself? Can you talk a bit more about that?
So I can only talk about it from my personal experience. So when I realised I was living in a lot of programming, and I'd done things, said things, when I become more aware, because when I was living in it, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. So I was like, wow, crap. There was a lot of things in my life I've said, I've done, I've took part in. Oh my gosh, I need to forgive myself. One of the ones what really hit, I had to forgive myself for the mum I was, with the programming, knowing that I'd pass that down onto my children at the time. So I just took some time in my bed, went through it. Right, I'd done the best I could, or what I knew I could do, or what was possible, or what I thought was right at the time, because every other adult around me would do stuff when I was younger. So I went in and I had a chat with my daughters, and I said, look, girls, you've got some unpacking to do. I'll pass some trauma down onto you and programming, but I've had to forgive myself, and I do forgive myself. And I said, I'm sorry I didn't know any different, and we just had a really good chat after. And just being okay, knowing that I chose my life. We all know we're going to be programmed before we come in. So knowing that, being okay that I chose my life and the programming, and I knew at some point of me knew I was going to participate in what I'd see, and then at some point in my life I was going to go, okay. So now I've had that conversation with my children. Yes, they've picked up. They've got some of their old mum in there, both of the girls, some of their old mum in there. And I'm like, oh, well, you see it for a lot of years. It is what it is. But when they have their children, if they choose to, that can start falling away. So for me, self-forgiveness is the most important, one of the most important steps. Because if you're beating yourself up and you're saying you forgive someone else, how deep have you forgive that person if you're still beating yourself up?
Yeah. I think that's something that we have to learn, don't we? That it's this whole concept of actually we're all one, we're all connected. And until you can really grasp that, it's really hard to have that full forgiveness for others and for yourself, because when you understand that if you're hurting someone else, you're actually hurting yourself, you know, that changes everything, doesn't it?
And did you see a difference, Tammy, of people around you when you made that shift?
So that was one of the reasons we moved, because there's a saying, you can't grow in the same place where you picked up all your programmings or traumas. Or I'm not saying that's true for everyone. For me, there was a truth to it. People didn't know how to take me. They'd think that I'm being actually sarcastic, because the old me be, if they said something, I'd have this opinion and these views, and I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, are you taking the... I'm like, no, I'm not. So it really impacted relationships. I remember my mum saying she had to get used, she felt like she lost her daughter and had to get used to having someone else what looked like her daughter, wasn't stressing as much. So I remember her saying to me, I used to think you was going to have a heart attack one day with how much you'd stress. And now it's nice, like that bit's nice. I don't think that and see that. So yeah, I had to, as a family, we had to move. For us as a unit, but then individually. If I had not have moved, I don't think I would be where I am now.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people I've known for a long time, I would say, they're getting used to me now. I don't see many of them because I live up in Openness, so. But yeah, I think when you do go through this, and the people around you can struggle as well. So having an understanding for their struggle.
Yeah.
Because they had someone and it's like they look the same but they're totally lost.
Yeah.
Someone they had.
Grief, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they will be grieving for you, and I think it's really important to say as well, you know, if a lot of the people that a lot of our audience are kind of coming into their awakening, aren't they? They're starting to discover their spiritual selves, and I think there's also an understanding that you need to have that, as well as other people grieving you can actually grieve your old self as well when you're really in the middle of it, can't you? So you know, like, oh god, it used to be easy when I didn't know what I know now, and you know, like all of that, you have to grieve for that, you have to let it go, but always knowing that. And this is the same, and I think this is really powerful. I mean, this is a lesson that I learned when I lost my mum, and obviously that's like a huge loss for me, but it really did teach me that, you know, when you can grieve, and if you can really sit in that grief and feel it, though it's so horrible and painful at the time, it makes you feel better afterwards. Like you feel you can feel that you have released something. As I lent into my grief more, every time I could feel that I had let a little bit more go, and that's not letting my mum go. And I think it's really important to stress that you're never letting the person go, but you're just letting that kind of the attachment that's going to keep you back in the past and keep you forever in suffering, really. And it helps you just to move forward. And you know, when you can do that, you open up space then for something even better to come in, and that old thing will still be there. It will still be a part of you, whether that's yourself or a person or even a situation or a job. It will still be part of you. You know, they'll live on through you. It will live on through you. You'll take it with you. You learn lessons from it, but then it doesn't mean that better things or different things that are going to help you with the lessons you're here to learn or get you further in your journey, you know, they're going to come through, and it's going to make your life better. So loss can make you better. Make your life better, can't it?
So I'm just getting a few messages. So humans, most Western, have never really been taught to celebrate death. Because there's no death, it is just a human body, just that's it. It's done, that the fractals left. And they've never been taught to really celebrate it. And one of the reasons, well, there's a lot of reasons. The powers that be, we will go on this with some of your audience, and there's no powers that be, but if you're following, would never been able to have so much control if you knew how powerful you were individually, but collectively, humanity wanted to experience being controlled, hence why you've experienced being controlled, because you wanted to get information, feed it up back to source God. So, but now is a time where you can speak to the new humans coming in, your children and your grandchildren and so on and so forth, that we are in this body for a moment of time. There's so much more of you. Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy this show. And when you leave your body, we can still be in communication, and it's not sad. Yes, your human may go, oh, I miss the physical touch. But once you start connecting more and more and more, sometimes the connection where no words can explain it means more than a physical touch. You
Yes.
feel it more than a physical touch.
Yes.
And we see that coming along now, coming online now, because it's time. Collectively, you want to remember, know, bring it back, because it just feels right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that just feels so comforting as well, I think, to so many people, doesn't it? And really helps with the thought of loss.
Yeah.
And if you're going through it, to be able to see it like that, that gives me so much comfort.
Can you imagine teaching your children that from such a young age? Can you imagine how they would go through life?
100%.
Yeah.
Just that one thing, just about death.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Massive
Honestly,
consequences for that, let alone all the programming, afterwards.
Yes.
But yeah, just that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so with the energies, what are going on your earth, on your overlay of the earth, coming from your sun and another sun, what is not yet to be seen in your universe, and then the cosmos, what your universe is in. There's so much change and energetic shifts going on. And we would like to say, if you can sit, look, don't put words to it, and feel, this shift will guide you. It will guide you. And in that guidance, you will live a life what you didn't ever think was possible to live. But it's quiet, to get the mind quiet. And this is where people, when their gifts come online, share them. Share them. You may not have a degree in it because it's an innate gift to you. Share them. There could be a room of 100 people, and if one resonates, that's going to ripple out. So share your gifts. And we want to also say that what fits you for a week, it may just be a week you need to do it. And then go on to something else. And you may do that for 2 years because you need to learn a little bit more of that, and then go on to something else. And nothing is wrong. So some human, Tammy done this, if she calls it the beginning of her journey. I don't want to do that. No, that's wrong. A lot of judgment come in, and now she knows, oh no, it's just, if someone's offering it and someone's going, it's needed. Whether it's, you want to look at it as good or bad, you still learn from it. You're still learning. And there's no good and bad. It's just a learning. What aligns with you, what doesn't. But it doesn't mean to say in a year's time that what didn't align will not align then. It may align then, because the tapestry of the earth, we give Tammy this. It's a beautiful tapestry, and it's ongoing. And the bottom left-hand corner is not matching up. It's not the same colour. The thread's not the same as the top right-hand corner. So you'd look and think, what? No. Oh, no. This bit's a lot nicer than that bit. No. But when you can become the awareness and be okay with, that fits me now. It might not in a month, but that might fit me in a month. So we are saying, if you've got your gifts, bring them out. Bring them out. It's time now. And then people either join you or not, and that's okay. And judgment is still heavily imprinted on the Earth's grid right now. But over the coming probably 10 years, it will start easing away more.
Good. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
What a different world that would be.
Yeah.
Wow.
It will start easing away more. We also want to talk about fear, as you spoke about before. And so with the astral projection, we want to talk about fear and astral projection. And now Tammy's going, oh, okay. Because Tammy doesn't astral project. So a human's a bit like, oh, you really want to talk about that? But we'll talk about it. So when you go out on the astral realm, and you're carrying fear, you're putting more fear in the astral realm. But astral projection for a human to do without fear is beautiful. It is such a beautiful experience for a human to do without fear. If you're going out there with fear, what are you doing? You're taking that fear with you, and it's out in the astral realm. That's why some humans on your planet can connect into fractals of their self, what are in the astral realms, and they say, oh, this was going on and that was going on, knowing that it's all right. It doesn't matter. There's no wrong or right. But we'd like to say, to do that without fear is beautiful for humans to do. And to try living their life without fear, knowing that they are just a fractal of their wholeness. And we want to say your wholeness is infinite, by the way. So what have you got to fear? You are born into a body with nothing but the body. At the end, you have your body, just a body, and you leave. Now we know day-to-day life can get involved and you have to do this and you have to do this, but even 5 minutes a day, exercise that part of you. It's like humans exercise their body to get it to look a certain way. So exercise your being, exercise your mind. If you don't exercise that every day, it's not going to be big and muscly, is it?
And so would you say with the exercising, that meditation, sitting quietly, what can we do?
Tammy's going to come in. I'm back now. For me, I don't meditate. Let's say our other people meditate. I struggle to listen to guided meditation. But I know people what love guided meditation. So anything what makes your heart smile.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
Anything what gets your heart, and it's really hard for me to explain. I don't necessarily mean your pumping heart, the organ, what's there. Yeah, there. I mean here.
Okay.
That feeling here.
Yeah.
What gives you a feeling in your body, what you can't quite explain.
Yeah, it's like warm and
yes. So it could be singing. It could be singing. It could be dancing. It could be gardening. It could be meditation. Now I'm asking about exercise. They're saying, yes, exercise is good, but sometimes you have to look at why you're doing the exercising.
Right. Yes. Okay. Is it coming from a place of love or a place of, I need to look a certain way or be a certain...
Or is it coming from a place of, I don't want to think about what is coming up. Let me numb myself with exercising.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm getting, yes, exercise, but can you go into your expansive mind to think about things what have been coming up? If you can do that while you're exercising, great. And they're going to come in. We are not saying don't do this and do this. This is good because we want to touch up on this. So many humans give their power away. The power what is given away is big through idolization, through your favourite singers, actors, healers. This is a big one.
Yeah.
People what channel like Tammy, they go, oh my God, she's channeling. No, you can do this too. We do not seek power. We have actually said when Tammy's worked with someone, no, you've given too much, like you need to take that back. We feel that you've take that back. So be mindful. You can go to someone what has assisted you and a big change has happened, and it's very easy to give your power over to them. That power is your creative force to create your reality. We want to say it's so important that you keep that for yourself. No one is above you, no one is below you. You are all aspects of God's source creator experiencing itself in every way it can. So let's just say someone's doing something what you don't agree with. No, that's just God's source experiencing that part. So do not give your power away. Keep it to create what you want to create. Make sense?
Absolutely. And that's really important in the world that we're living in at the moment, where everything's kind of going into a bit of chaos, and we've got, you know, companies, corporations, governments, systems, you know, trying to control us and trying to keep us down and in check. And I think this, if we can do this, if everybody can do that, remember, you have the power, they don't have the power. That's how we start living. Like you were saying before, there's people who are living and thinking the world's in destruction, and there's people looking and thinking the world's becoming something great. That's how, that's actively how you get to live in one of those two worlds, isn't it?
And the idolization for me, I'm back. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Yeah. The idolization for me, like when I was reading Dolores Cannon's books, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And them books are amazing. I'm not taking anything away. But so much of that, oh my God, went out. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do if my life wasn't there? Like, what can I do for me? What can I bring for me, if that makes sense? And if I'm really honest, that's why I kind of step back a lot, because in stepping back, it's made me more aware of how we leak our energy out. And it's not that I'm agreeing or disagreeing with anyone, because when you can start seeing others for the beautiful journey that they're on, because they're all beautiful, and be like, wow, you're on a beautiful journey. But you can step back, just look at others for their journey that they're on, but then keep that wellness for you to create your life. And go, oh my gosh, they've got their wellness and they're creating their life. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, some people might.
Tammy, can you feel it when maybe someone's giving away too much to you because they're watching you and they're like in awe? I know I am.
yeah. So they have. Right, I need to explain this part before I can explain this. So the human, this is really hard. So the human fractal, what is in this body, is probably in it about 30 to 40% of the time, other fractals can come in and get to experience and then bring in stuff that, yes, I can. And I'm like, and when I feel that, I'm like, no, this is your power to create your reality. And I had a couple of sessions over the weekend. And one question got asked, how do I connect to the heart space and here? And I said, that is very individual. That is very personal. So when you go to someone and they're saying you should do this and you should do that, and that may have worked for them. And I'm not saying they shouldn't bring their stuff out. Yeah, bring their stuff out, but not everyone is going to connect to it, just as it should be. My response was, it's very personal to you, so let's find that feeling. I can't tell you when you're going to feel it. You will just feel it. And then that is it, because what works for me may not work for you.
Yeah. That's amazing. You're basically empowering them, just like you do, Tash, as well. You two are so, you're speaking the same language there, aren't you? You're empowering that person to go on with their person, what's the word? Personalized sort of like journey.
Yeah.
Because yes, you have to share, I'm always very clear. I share what works for me and what I do, but then I always caveat that with, but that won't necessarily work for you. You can try it. If it feels good to you, do it. If it doesn't, do what makes you feel good. And I think this brings up that a whole other conversation, isn't it, about how we all just need to really get in touch with our intuition. And this is what you said at the beginning, kind of going from up here to here. This is the process of hearing and feeling and knowing our intuition, isn't it? And then when you have that, you are empowered. You don't need anybody else, because the more you build this up, the more you start trusting it, the more you realize you trust that more than anything of what anyone else says. But that doesn't mean that you just say, well, I don't need any help from anyone anymore. I don't want anything. But it means you can absorb all the information around you, run it through your own internal intuition, and then say, I like that. That works for me. I don't like that. I'm going to put that away. But that doesn't mean that you're wrong or, that is wrong. It just doesn't work for me.
At that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, I've said to Becky, because you said this before, and I was like, oh, we've had this conversation a couple of years ago. We were talking about, we were talking about extraterrestrials and that kind of stuff. And it was funny because I said, right now, it's just not for me. It just doesn't resonate with me at all, but I'm happy to leave it there. And I know one day I might come back to it. Then like 5 or 2 years later, I'm like, right, we're here. It's here now. This is working for me. And now that's like kind of like more of what I'm focused on. And the sooner you can be okay with, just being open to whatever comes to you, the better your life's going to be, isn't it, really? Like, honestly.
So one of my fractals, what I connected with was a blue avian. And the first time me and my daughters were doing, we all done a meditation downstairs, because my oldest daughter does, she's really, her connection, great. And she done this meditation, and I got a picture of this blue avian, and we stopped this meditation. She went, Mum, you just turned into a bird. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, he was with me, and he had 2 children as well. He was with me, and he used to wrap his wings around me. And I've never felt anything like that. And then I was at a breathwork session, and he come in and he said, you're not going to see me as much now. And I'm like, I just burst out crying and had to go to the toilet in the middle of this breathwork session. And he was lovely. Now, go back years ago, aliens, I'd be like, oh, maybe. Never thought that a fractal of me would be in what we perceive as an ET body.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. And then, so with the ETs, now just being pure energy. There's parts of you just pure energy floating. Because in one of my QHHT sessions, I spent a long time just being energy floating about.
Yes.
That's it. So to be okay with the ETs now, like you said, it's time. You're like, yeah, okay, let's look into this.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because you'll probably start connecting, if you haven't already, to other parts of yourself. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And it just opens up a whole new world then, doesn't it? And that's what I love. Like, I came into this world just loving knowledge, just loving like having knowledge, gaining knowledge, using knowledge. I love it. It's just part of who I am. But I was the old Tash before all this was so closed off because I was very kind of logical and scientific minded, and I wouldn't see the other side of things, though it was a massive part of me. It's always been a massive part of me, but I denied it, as do so many of us. But it kept me so closed. It kept me so contained. And now, being, you know, who I am, and I can honestly, genuinely say I haven't come across anything that's made me think, no, that's nonsense. I'm so open to anything, and even if it doesn't resonate with me, I'm still like, yeah, sure, I'm sure that's right. And it's just so exciting because I'm like, what's next to me? What's this unlocked and what's open?
Well, if you said that, do you want me to?
Yes.
So I was brought up thinking, bear with me till the end for this one, okay? Mm-hmm. And this is the first time I've told anyone not in the house. Aww. Okay, so born, brought up to think the world was round. Okay. And then come across this flat earth, and I'm like, all right, okay, I'll have a look at this a little while. It makes sense. And then started channeling, and they done a drawing. So it is round and flat at the same time, and I'm like, that makes sense, but okay, let's go along with it. So I drew the lands, and then the energy field what's around the earth, and I'm like, right, okay. And then we was driving in the car, and I said to my husband, I went, what do you think about the moon? He went, I ain't really got no thought on it. It's not, it don't, yeah, no, there's nothing. He went, what do you think about it? I went, I can't wait to see the other moon, because we've got more than one moon. It's just that we've not been able to see that at this moment. We could do thousands of years ago on Earth. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm like, what do you think about the sun? And we had a chat, and I'm like, the suns, because we've got more than one sun. And then I went, what do you think about the Earth? And he went, well, people believe it's flat or round. Is it going to, and we say, is it going to make a difference when you wake up in the morning? Is it going to change your life when you wake up in? No, it's not going to make no difference. Anyway, they come in, and this is how I see Earth now, okay? And it's flat, not flat, it's not round. Have you seen the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
And they bring up the planet on the screen out of the computer, and it's blue.
Yeah.
That's how I see Earth.
Wow.
So when people say, and it could change, and I'm okay with it changing.
Yeah.
So that is how I see Earth, because like you can go in and just pull it about and zoom in and zoom out, and that's how I see it. Yeah. And that's for me how I see it. If someone wants to see it as round, sweet. If someone wants to see it as flat, sweet. It don't really, but that's just how I see it. And we get so caught up in, well, is it this? Is it that? Is it that? No, just let it be what it is for you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right? Seriously, it doesn't make a difference how you're going to get up every morning in your human body and live your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I think the more you expand your awareness, like I was talking about before, just being open to anything being possible, the more you realize you don't know, and the more you get comfortable with not knowing. Because I think for me as well, like the way my brain used to work, I wanted an answer for everything. I expected an answer for everything, and I wanted an answer. And if I didn't have it, I wasn't satisfied. And now I'm like, I don't know. And I love that I don't know. I'm okay with not knowing.
Well, that's the biggest expansion place you can be in. The biggest expansion place is not knowing.
Yes.
So the only belief I have is to have no beliefs at all. That way I'm open to all what is. Again, it's a word box. They're coming through really heavily with word boxes because the word box holds you.
Yeah.
It really, really does.
It limits you, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But humans wanted to be limited by language and words to see what it felt like.
Yeah. And again, it just goes back to that whole thing, is when you can have this understanding of the world and the reality you live in, it helps you just think, don't take it so seriously, because really we all take life too seriously, don't we? It's so many times in the day I have to catch myself and go, chill out. It's really not that serious. Remember, like, this is just a flick of time. Have fun. But it's really hard to do that in an everyday basis as a human, isn't it? But I think if you can have that as an anchor and just remember that, and it's not, you can't just come to this, can you? Like, I've had to get to a journey where I can have these beliefs now. I've had experiences. I took that first step in just asking, what if? Like, what if? That was what led me to be able to be here now. But it was a process. I did, QHHT, I've got a lot to be thankful for, because I've spoken to aliens in QHHT. I've traveled back in time to, the witch trials. I've gone back to other planets. I've gone to people where they're just energy. I've spoken to a rock, like, you name it.
The rock beings that come out. I was walking and it was like the rock beings. And I'm like, wow, yeah, because like there's rock beings in another overlay.
Wow.
Like, honestly, like, yes to all of it. We were talking before we, press record. Fairies, like elemental dimensions, all these things that are around us that we aren't aware of, that are at different frequencies, different dimensions, however you want to explain it, overlays, like you say. It's potentially all there. Listen, I can't sit here and say it definitely is, because I don't know. But to me, in my belief system, in my like mind now where it is, I'm like, yeah, absolutely could be
Why
there.
not?
Why not? Exactly.
Why not?
And
we've spent so long going, oh, it's this, and we're really happy.
Yeah, exactly. I know when I was happy, when I was a kid, and I believed that there were fairies at the bottom of the garden.
Exactly.
And I believed the faraway tree was real, and Mr. Moonface lived in the tree. That's when I was happy. And now
that's come back.
Exactly. And that's what we talk about all the time, isn't it? Just be open to the magic in the world, because you have to have a little bit of faith, a little bit of trust. But actually, when you get that, you start having it proven to you, and you feel it, Tammy, don't you? You feel it. You don't have to see it with your eyes. You can feel it.
So I was told, I've got this thing with Germany. I was out walking and then I was getting this like light language, but it sounded really German. It was weird. So I touched this tree and I got watch Grimm again. And it was like, was it at 10 years ago, something like that? And I'm like, watch that. It was quite dark and gory. I don't really want to watch it again. Like, watch it again. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll put it on. And I had a time in Germany where I wasn't, let's say, a normal human or a run-of-the-mill human. And I was like, okay, this is why I've got to watch it. Okay. So I'm watching it, and then it's like they vogue into what beings they are. So they take human form, but then they vogue into what they actually are. And I wrote a whole page on, like, while I was watching it, and they said it's not just humans what can expand and evolve now. It's every race. It's not just a human race, it's every race at this moment in time, space of your universe. So it's not even just Earth, it's the universe and the cosmos, what we're in actually. Everything has a chance to evolve, like just go into the next phase of themselves. And I was like, wow, that's why I had to watch it. And that's why I'll probably go to the Black Forest one day. Because they said about the energy grids there, so I'll get some stuff.
Do you, with the energy grids, you know, like in the ley lines and all that on Earth, can you see them? Do you, or however you experience them, do you experience that?
I don't know where a lot of the ley lines, I don't research.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't research. But I know that where I live, it's on one of the biggest ley lines going through the UK.
Really?
And I didn't know that for a long time.
Wow.
It's on one of the biggest ley lines. But when I got told about Germany, they said that I'll go there and integrate some of the energy and put energy there. And I'm like, oh, right, okay, I don't, because if I over question it, I'm like, these don't make sense. But when I see, so the ley lines are similar to different energy grids. Now, if you were to see how many energy grids were on your Earth, it would blow you away. Yes. So when Tammy went to this castle, but it was an old castle that wasn't built on your overlay, it was a bleed through what happened hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So you'll start seeing this happening on your Earth. You're going to start seeing discoveries of pyramids. There's going to be portals becoming more known on your Earth. Your Earth is going to have a big shift in things what are now going to be seen with your eyes. Yes? So we say if you feel drawn to go somewhere, there is a reason. Keep watching out for them fairies. And in the watching out for the fairies, be open to other things, because you might see them before you see the fairies.
Oh, Tammy, I'm so goosebumpy.
We're just about to go to Glastonbury on Monday. I was guided to go in a dream. It's like, Bex, we're going to Glastonbury. We need to go at this particular time, and we need to go to these places. So we're doing that a couple of Mondays' time. So that's interesting. That you just, I don't know whether you remember what you just said, but if you feel drawn to go to particular places, then you must go and look out for things. So yeah, we're going to be doing that very soon in the next couple of weeks. Sorry.
So I've just, if I could. Tunaya ishtanai kanu tunuaya tunaya ishtaya kanuaya no ishtaya oreknishnaya tunu ishtia kana ana uaya ekana o no ishtaya tana ishtaya kanuaya tunuaya tana ishtaya tunu Yeah.
Thank you. That was light language, by the way, everyone.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Do you know what it was for? Like, why that came through?
I'll ask, 1 second. A transmission of calmness, connecting, stillness, and love for yourself and those what watch.
Aww,
Yeah.
that's lovely. Thank you.
They're nodding.
I think that if you, because so a lot of you might not have known what that was when that came through, but maybe rewind that and just close your eyes and just like allow yourself to feel it. Because we've like, God, we could go on. We have to stop, but we could go on, and we definitely need to have Tammy back on, don't we?
Please, Tammy,
but there's a whole other thing about light language, and you don't have to understand it, but you just feel it. It's like a frequency and energy transmission, isn't it?
And
so
I really felt that.
Yeah,
did you?
yeah, I did. So close your eyes and listen to it back, and then just see how it feels.
Yes.
Don't try and understand it. See how it feels.
I had to get used to, like, I'm like, what does this mean? Can you give me words? And they're like, yeah.
It's nice to know, isn't it? And if they give it to you, then that's great, isn't it? Because it is lovely to know. But yeah. But Tammy, honestly, oh my gosh. What a chat. Thank you so much. We will definitely need to have you back on. We could just talk for ages, couldn't we? And I love that just whatever needs to come through comes through today.
Yeah.
But before we go, if there was one thing you wanted to let our audience know, if you wanted them to know one important thing, what would that be?
It's you. It's you. It always has been you. It always will be you. It's you. And normal Tammy's going, what are you talking about? It's you. They're not going to understand. But it's you. It's you in your truth. Get to know you. Just get to know you.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I can 100% testify.
I literally say that to myself.
Yes,
there is only you. There is only you.
Amazing. Tammy, been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, before we go, one last thing. I forget. Oh. Admin. Tammy, where can people find you? Because I know you're starting to get out there now, and you'll put your message out. Where's the best place to find you?
Facebook. Yeah. Channel with Tammy. Instagram, I believe it's channeling_with_Tammy. TikTok, it's the same, but I will be starting my YouTube, putting out short messages. Just literally, does it really matter? Everything's going to be on there. Everything. What is going to trigger people? What is going to get you thinking outside the box? So.
Yeah, I love that. We need to be triggered. We need to do that. We need to have some disruption, don't we? We can hear the same old stuff over and over again. It doesn't do anything. Doesn't help us grow. We've got to get triggered. Yeah. So I love that. You should probably call it Triggered with Tammy. I will make sure I leave all the links to your social medias in the show notes below. So if you want to go and find Tammy, you can absolutely find her links in the show notes below. But until next time, guys, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.